Tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG doggy.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morris, or Morris, aka Russ, and it's a bit crowded this week because with me is
PJ Coffey from the Southampton Guild Role Players and also Homebrew and Hacking Tabletop RPG Design. Joining us also. Well, let's put it this way. When she hits the beach, or at high, get flashback to Helm's Deep. It's the one, it's the only,
It's me, Jessica from EM Publishing. I have returned from 2 weeks away. And yes, I have been on a lovely sunny Caribbean island, and I am still
and we are both
person,
look, stop stealing my joke. You're both stealing my joke now because you knew I was going to make this joke about your tan.
Well, yeah,
So
I don't tan. I'm the whitest person, you know. And when I go to the Caribbean, because I have family over there, so I go over a bit. I basically dress like a beekeeper the entire time, just completely covered.
Yeah.
Because I just don't tan. So I'm there with my factor 50 every day, even when inside SPF.
It's that Welsh heritage.
Yeah. Did you know SPF goes up to 100?
I did not.
Yeah.
But now I do, I guess.
Is that just like a sheet of cardboard?
No, I also then have the beekeeper outfit on top.
Right.
But yes, I have returned, and I am here to hear all about the tabletop RPG news, because the last 2 weeks I also didn't watch the news because I wanted a break from the world, because before I went on holiday, the whole tariff situation happened.
Yeah.
And it's continuing to happen.
While you were away, it got worse. But we'll go into that in a minute. We've got a tariff. We've got another 4 weeks in a row now, another tariff segment to go through. And I hope that's not becoming too tedious for people listening, because I'm getting bored of talking about it. But it is happening, and we do have to talk about it.
It continues to be relevant.
Yeah. But before then, should we talk about the brand new D&D SRD?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. The System Reference Document 5.2 is finally live. As promised by Wizard of the Coast a year ago, they said that it would appear after the Monster Manual came out.
Voilà.
One system reference document. So this is, for those who don't know, basically a developer tool. So it contains all of the, not all of the rules, but a lot of the rules of D&D, with a lot of these sort of IP stripped out. So, you know, like all the Forgotten Realms stuff stripped out. So it's just the rules. And then that's released out. It used to be under the Open Gaming license, now via Creative Commons, so that third parties like us and many others can make products powered by 5e, basically. So, has anyone looked at this? Yeah,
I have not.
I've had other things on my mind, I'll be honest.
Okay. So, there's a couple of notable things. It's got a few things removed from the 5.1 SRD.
Okay.
It doesn't include, for some reason, the Bastions section. We're not entirely sure why.
Yeah.
And also, this is quite interesting. So in the 5.1 SRD, there are a couple of bits and pieces that were, I guess, accidentally included. So there are things like the word Strahd was in the 5.1 SRD, and things like that. They've been removed for the 5.2 SRD. They are no longer in there. That doesn't mean that the 5.1 SRD is, you can
still use it. You just have to use 2 SRDs.
Yeah. The 5.1 SRD is still out there, still valid. You can still use it. There's a couple of other things removed. The term Deck of Many Things has been removed. Sean J says, anyone here with Dave Thornweather's trademark legal challenge? Yeah. We're literally about to talk about that. So the deck of many things has been removed. So this is interesting. So about a year ago, 2 years ago, I think it's in 2023, Wizard of the Coast applied for a trademark. Let's see if I can find the. There we go. This is the trademark for the deck of many things.
Oh, okay.
And according to the current SRD, in the sort of creator notes, it says that things like the deck of many things and also Orb of Dragonkind have been removed from the SRD in order to, and the words is renamed in SRD 5.2 only to avoid using protected trademarks still referred to as deck of many things in official products.
Okay.
So we've got this trademark going. As you can see from that, it was applied for in 2023. It is not, it's still pending, as you can see from there.
Yeah.
Still pending. Sometimes these things just take ages. But been applied for as a trademark was a year before SRD 5.1 was released. So it was 2 years ago in Creative Commons. So it's an old trademark application, but it was updated, as you can see, as recently as April 14, 2025.
Okay.
Weeks ago. So it looks like Wizards intend to trademark Deck of Many Things and Orb of Dragonkind.
Oh, okay.
So Deck of Many Things, so they can produce it as a product, I assume.
Right.
I mean, they've been doing that for years, producing decks of many things, but I guess they want to protect it now. And Orb of Dragonkind, I guess, same. I don't know what they'd be producing there, but
big orb attracts
big orb, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, put it this way: if you could have a glow in the dark orb, or one that you could use to like a sort of like as a remote or something like that, or some other Internet of Things access to various parts of your house. Wouldn't that be quite cool? Like a gesture powered orb. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah,
it would be even better though, is if it actually summoned dragons.
I mean, it depends upon your neighborhood ordinances. Like, I'm pretty sure I would get in trouble if I summoned dragons to my house.
Well, maybe they'd be baby dragons,
like a pseudo dragon.
That makes it worse.
Why does it make it worse? They're not going to land on your house and squash it, at least.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. I mean, they're the size of horses. I'm not sure how strong my roof is, but like the thing I know about babies is they produce a lot of poop, Russ. And
that's the only reason I have not got an elephant.
A horde of baby dragons, and they're carnivores, so it'd be like your cat. Like a cat's poop, but much larger and presumably more acidic.
Well, Peter,
dragons
are magical creatures, and we don't know for a fact that they poop.
But we don't know that they poop.
I'm just sitting here listening to this conversation, thinking a week ago I was on a beach, and now I'm here talking about dragon poop.
Yeah, why not? But anyway. We
I'm
were
just saying that I won't be out there with a shovel. Okay,
fair. So this trademark thing.
Yeah, back to what we're talking about.
So we end up in this interesting situation where how does a trademark and the Creative Commons interact? So what is the point of trademarking something that's already been put into the Creative Commons by a previous SRD?
Yeah.
Presumably you think, therefore, it would have no effect.
Yeah.
So I've done some digging.
My assumption. Oh,
I've done some digging on this, but let's get to that in a second because I want to show you something else that is now in the 5.2 trademark SRD. So this is page 5 of the 5.2 SRD.
Yeah.
Can you see anything there that you think that is on that screenshot that you think maybe they would not want to put out into the Creative Commons?
Is it D and D?
Yes. The words, the term D&D is on there. So you see they've taken care to change DM and Dungeon Master to Game Master. They've carefully done that. Because Dungeon Master is a trademark and they don't want people just using it. What they have got is D&D in there.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is interesting.
Opposed to using the D&D, which is the loophole.
Yeah. So D&D is also a trademark.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like Deck of Many Things, like Dungeon Master, D&D is a trademark. So what we need to then look at is how does a Creative Commons license and a trademark interact? Now, the license itself contains the words, patents and trademark rights are not licensed under this public license.
Oh, so if you trademark it, it makes the commons void.
Yes. So it looks like if you trademark something, it basically means that it's removed. So Deck of Many Things, despite being in Creative Commons now, once it's trademarked, that license will no longer apply to the Deck of Many Things because it's trademarked.
But is that clear in the system reference documents and the Creative Commons that what is and isn't trademarked? Because if I'm a third-party creator, I might go to the SRD, to the Creative Commons, think this is what I can use, and I might use it. I might not go around looking at all the trademarks to check.
Sure. And I think if that ended up in court, I think the judge would turn around and say, why didn't you go around and check that you weren't using trademarks? I mean, the onus would be on you to do that, even though it's
tired and busy.
I know.
There's a tariff war going on. And I'm trying to make games. Sorry, but
yeah. So the onus is on you to make sure that you are not using a trademark you're not entitled to use. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, I didn't know."
But
Feels
in this
bad
case,
faith.
Does the trademark apply retroactively?
Well,
because if I've understood the order of events, they released Deck of Many Things under the SRD, and now they're applying for a trademark. And that seems to me like a horse bolting the stable door after the horse is bolted.
Well, that we don't know. We don't know. We do know that D&D was trademarked long before it went into the Creative Commons.
Yeah,
and we do know that Dungeon Master was and things like that. So that's all safe.
Yeah, I can see that being like sort of one of those things. Although I would say that there is an onus upon, if you're releasing a Creative Commons document, that you don't release such a thing, and then I could see it being used like to trap people by unethical actors, which I know sounds absolutely ridiculous. But
very Machiavellian, that, and a lot of effort to trap somebody.
Yeah, I'm not saying, just for the avoidance of doubt, that this is what Hasbro are intending and doing, but patent trolls do exist. So, like, I could see that being a thing, but I would say I don't know. I think it would be like, if you're using something like D&D or trying to use D&D, say, well, it was in the SRD, so that's good enough, then that's probably not going to fly because that's so well known. But some of the other things, so I mean, is Strahd in the Creative Commons or not? Because
the word Strahd is yes.
Yeah,
not the backstory, not the image of him, nothing like that, but the word, the single word Strahd, is in the Creative Commons and is not a trademark. So that's clear cut. That is clear cut. So
okay, right.
You can use the word Strahd. You can't like grab his stat block or pictures of him and put that in the book, but you can use the word Strahd.
I mean, like getting a vampire, making a stat block. These are not insurmountable obstacles. Yeah. It's like give me 20 minutes on Openverse and quickly on the
in the chat. Rye versus the World says there should be a period of appeal prior to establishing a trademark. There is, but we've missed it on this one. Presumably, because this was 3 years ago. Presumably, the opportunity to challenge the establishment of trademark after the fact is there. Yes, that is also there. So yeah, it's not like these things are completely irreversible and unappealable. And you can, that's how Wizard of the Coast got the TSR trademark back off of new TSR. for example.
Mm.
So there is nuance to this, though. So the words are patent and trademark rights are not licensed under this public license. So we're talking about trademark rights. So the trademark rights is basically the right to use it as a trademark, which is different to just using it in your book. Now you can actually already use trademarks in your book or your novel, or you can have a character in your novel drink a Coca-Cola, and you won't be sued by Coca-Cola. Well, you might be, but they'd lose. You can, you can do that. You can utter the words. You can, it's not like when someone owns a trademark, no one's allowed to mention they exist. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So,
I imagine they'd say thanks for the free advertising.
Yeah, presumably. So there's this whole thing with product placement in films and stuff where they actually pay for it. So it's the other way around. You can write in your book the words Dungeons and Dragons and D&D and stuff. You can say this is a book designed to be compatible with Dungeons and Dragons. You can stick that in your book, and that's fine. The trademark rights is basically about you representing yourself as the owner of that trademark, or that the owner of that trademark is in some way endorsing your product or using it as a trademark. So if you put on the cover of your book a big D&D logo, you're using it as a trademark, which is the right that the Creative Commons doesn't transfer. You don't have the right to do that, but you do have the right to use the word, and you didn't need it to be in Creative Commons to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, the common example that people often use is if you go and pick up a phone cable, on the packaging, it will have a list of all the different phone models. It'll say Samsung and iPhone or whatever that it's compatible with. They're all trademarks. And it's perfectly legal for them to put those trademarks on the packaging and saying that this product is compatible with those objects, with those trademarks, with those brands. That's fine, as long as they're not pretending they're Apple or pretending they're Samsung and that this is an official iPhone product or an official, So you can do that. And the reason we don't do that, and it only occurred to me this week why we don't do that, because we've been trained through 25 years of the open game license, which no longer applies because we're talking about the Creative Commons license now. The open gaming license specifically forbade you from doing that. So if you use the open gaming license, you could not use or include any trademark without written permission. Creative Commons license doesn't say that. So the only reason people would think it might be an issue is just because they've been trained by the OGL for 25 years into a habit of carefully avoiding the use of trademarks. But now we're on Creative Commons. You can literally put on the front cover of your book, compatible with Dungeons and Dragons.
As long as it's not laid out in a way that implies it's an official Dungeons and Dragons product.
Yeah, of course, I am not a lawyer, and I am most definitely not your lawyer, and this is not legal advice.
No. The only danger for that is I think that could get you in murky grounds, because wizards could turn around and say, the way you've presented it implies this, and then it becomes a legal battle.
Yeah, but you can be very clear, because you can put that is a trademark of Wizard of the Coast, no infringement intended, and that is the standard phrase you put on stuff, and it is every court case has always said yes, that is extremely clear, there is nothing to answer here. Nobody is going to read that and be confused. So
well, somebody will read it and be confused, I guarantee. But I know what you mean.
So that seems to me like maybe breaking the OGL was a bit of a boneheaded thing to do.
I guess. I mean, the Creative Commons license is more permissive than the OGL ever was. So,
I don't think it was ever on their roadmap and plan to do the Creative Commons thing. That was purely a reactive PR thing because of all the backlash. So, I think it was just, It's what had to be done after everything. So,
yes, but still.
So, what's this date? Who's Dave's form of war then?
Right. So that is. I've only glanced at it. That is someone who is challenging the Deck of Many Things trademark, and the challenge is based on the fact that the Creative Commons license, and I don't know whether this challenge would work or not, but the Creative Commons license specifically says that you cannot put further restrictions on the use of the content that is licensed. So you can't put something into the Creative Commons license and say, yes, but don't do this with it. You can't. It's Creative Commons or it's not. You can't restrict people, tell them how they can use it, tell them where they put it. You know, you can't tell them you can put it on the inside of your book, but not on the cover. You can't do anything like that. You can't put any restrictions on it.
Yeah.
As far as I can make out, Dave Thormovor's case, it's not a lawsuit, it's a challenge to the trademark by the trademark office. Is that adding a trademark or applying for a trademark is adding a restriction to the usage of that content.
Yeah, that makes sense to me as somebody who knows nothing about trademarks or law.
I think basically what you then have is you have two bits of the Creative Commons license which kind of conflict with each other, just ever so slightly overlap. One saying patent and trade, specifically saying patent and trademark rights are an exception, and one saying you can't add restrictions. So,
I mean, I don't feel we should be lecturing Hasbro, the creators of Magic the Gathering, about the stack, but it does feel like you needed to apply for this trademark before you released it into the Creative Commons. Like that seems like that seems like that's going to be the legal opinion.
I don't know that the order of operations is as relevant or not. I don't know.
It's a good soundbite though, PJ. Like I like the Magic the Gathering stack reference. That's good.
But it does kind of sound like just like registering a trademark or something does sound like a way to snatch something back from Creative Commons.
That's very much against the spirit. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But that does look like a strong case, and because it is Creative Commons, there is quite a lot of vested interests that will be having things to say. So exciting stuff. I guess more to come as events develop.
Yeah. Well, Sean J has just put in the chat there. Here we go. Dave Thormavor did attempt to appeal with the US Patent and Trademark Office, but he missed the initial request period. So he's taken it to a next step with an appeals board, but that can take years. So we probably won't hear anything anytime soon, I guess.
Well, in several years, when we hear about it, we'll update you.
Yeah. So anyway, SRD 5.2 now out there.
Yes.
Okay.
So for people who were waiting for that in order to start making third-party content, there you go. You didn't need it, but there you go. If you wanted the stamp of approval, it's there.
I feel some rare spells coming on for Advanced 5th edition.
Yeah. What else is missing from
do some changes, but
yeah. So other things that are missing from it, I say missing, just aren't included. So there is the 5.1 had a whole between adventures section, which is gone because D&D 2024 doesn't have that in the game. Half orcs, half elves gone, obviously, because they're not in 2024. Yeah. And a couple of other sort of like verbiage changes and stuff.
Yeah.
But by and large, it's pretty much the same as what was in 5.1, just the 2024 version of those words.
So presumably it's got the 2024 spells in and so forth.
Yeah.
New classes and the features.
Yep. So we've got a whole list of what's been added on their web page for it, the D&D Beyond page for it. There's a big old list of what's been added, and it's all the classes and the it's all the stuff that's been added. Not bastions.
More Lego.
Yeah, basically, but not bastions. I don't know why not bastions. I don't understand why not bastions.
Yeah, that is a tricky one. I don't know. Maybe they have plans to do a book on bastions.
Maybe they realised that A5E strongholds are better, and they thought, let's just let them do that instead. Use that because that's already out in the Creative Commons.
I'm sure they're deeply familiar with our work. Yes,
I'm sure.
Well, You say that, but the one of the things I noticed when I was doing my last book was that the 2024 heritages are now very much in line with well, the general way that heritages and cultures and so forth have been updated, and that they're bang on alongside A5E. So that's pretty good in terms of points cost and so forth. So
Okay.
I don't think that they're entirely ignorant of the work of Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, but I doubt.
I imagine they're vaguely aware of the various sort of spin-offs that exist. I don't know how much they'd have paid attention to them.
Yeah.
I don't think you got them quaking in their boots, but there's definitely
Definitely do not.
Yeah, no.
But there's definitely a lot of similarities, although there's definitely some influences, I would say, that are maybe there. But yeah, that's okay.
Also,
it's
might just be
shared.
It might be just because those are things that the gaming community wanted. So it, so they're just leading into that, and it's
All right. So we've got a lot of Tariff stuff to talk about. Before we do that, can I show something off?
Yeah, go on then.
Look at this. Hang on. Let me put this on just me because I'm going to need the whole screen to show you this.
Oh, that's just me.
How was that just Jess? I don't know how to change that. How do I change it?
I do. Don't worry, I'll do it. That's why I'm back.
Look at this. Enormous. This thing is basically a portable gym. It's so heavy. When it arrived, I was shocked by how heavy this thing is. But this brick is literally the weight of like 4 or 5 bricks. It's enormous. Voidrunner's Codex is here.
Goodness.
Look at that. And my arms are actually tired now. That's how heavy it is.
For those at home, Russ is holding up a large piece of gym equipment, which is masquerading as a box set.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be neat. I mean, put it this way: you're going to want to be at home to receive this this parcel, this package. It is 100% not going through your letterbox.
And if you've got one of those postal workers who likes to throw things over the fence, make sure there's nothing breakable on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, you want like a trampoline or something. Maybe a dog flap, because this isn't fitting for a cat flap either. This is like a serious bit of kit. So amazing. Well, I'm feeling excited.
I wanted to unbox it on the show, but it's so big that I literally this desk just isn't moving. So I came up with a cunning plan. I did a pre-unboxing and took some photos. How cunning is that? So would you like to see that?
Yeah, like a fox.
Yeah, look at this. Right. That's it on my kitchen counter there.
Yeah.
Lovely.
What is it? There's like four books in there?
Yeah, well, there's 3 hardcover books.
Yes.
There's a GM screen, and there's a box full of like 20 plus double-sided poster maps and sheets of tokens. But I've unboxed it. I've unboxed it all down so you can see the details. Okay. So this next image, this is I've unpacked it there. Look.
Yeah, we can see Escape from Death Player, Voidrunner's Codex, a very nice looking GM screen, and maps and tokens box. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm impressed.
Oh yeah. And here, this is a look at the maps and the tokens. So there's I think it was 21 double-sided poster maps. So that's basically 42.
And the box they go in is a book style box that's made to look like a book, so it slots in. Which is why you initially thought there were 4 books.
That would be it. What okay, so I can see the tokens. There appear to be some like absolutely gargantuan ones. Are they like dragons or something?
Yep. I think it's a void dragon, that one, I think.
Well, you should always avoid dragons where possible.
Because of the poop.
Exactly. Oh, I don't even want to think of what poop a void dragon would do.
Yeah, because they're big.
I mean, your car's in serious danger. Drops on.
So here's a look at some of the poster maps there. Look.
Yes,
as I said, there's 21 of these double-sided, so 42 maps.
That's lovely.
loads of
with one each
Starship
grid.
deck plans, all with the minis on. So these could
Yeah.
be used for Voidrunners, but you could use them for any other space
Mm.
RPG you have as
Yeah.
well, just
Oh,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
nice thing to have.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then this is a space
Oh,
poster map. So basically, in
Right.
space combat, it uses zones. So
yes.
that's an example one where you can see that there's a bunch of different zones on there.
Yeah, an
You can see
asteroid
there's an
field, a
asteroid
space
field,
station.
the void,
Ah,
something else.
nebula.
Nebula, yeah.
Nebula. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
okay.
we have, that's an example of a Starship deck plan.
Oh, okay. Got like a octagon with like a couple of rooms off, conference room and so forth offside. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
that's a bridge, basically. Starship bridge.
Right. So it's a ready room and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jolly good. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 20 odd of these. So you can build an entire sort of USS Enterprise size starship out of these.
Mm.
And there's,
Nice.
there's deck plans for sick bays and hangar decks and crew quarters and mess halls and basically everything you can think of. Labs, weapons rooms, cargo bays, everything. Loads
Strong.
of those.
Yeah.
These are the tokens. Lots and lots of them, as you
Yep.
can see.
Lots of different
Oh.
scales, because some things in space are massive.
What
Like to
is-
summarize.
What is the psychedelic thing that looks like it's bigger than a void dragon?
Do you know what? I can't actually remember what that is.
I do know it, but I can't remember the name.
Some kind of space
Oh.
amoeba type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's got
Yeah,
like
that
I
is-
can't remember.
That is big, and there's a lot of the regular cards. We've got like
Mhm.
those little starfighters I'm seeing.
Yep, the spaceships.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice,
there's
nice,
spaceships on there as well.
It's the
Okay.
brainstorm.
The brainstorm. Thank you.
Ah,
Thank
yes,
you. Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
What else we got? So another look at the general set there. There's a maps and tokens box that they come in.
Does look like a book. Very sneaky. Love it.
Then that's how it looks on the side.
Ah, yes. So like the actual books themselves have a black spine with the writing on, and the maps and tokens box has a purple spine. So
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And then that's the back of it.
No, I
And
mean,
that's something else
what a
entirely.
beast!
There we go.
Yes.
It is a beast of a tome.
There we go.
Looking forward to getting my copy.
Yes.
Very proud of that.
As the comment says,
should
looks
be.
really nice and has an expensive tariff fee. So shall we segue into talking about tariffs?
Do we have to?
Well,
yeah.
I don't have to pay a tariff to deliver it to me because I live in the UK and we don't have tariffs here because that's a big impediment to trade. And the UK government hasn't waxed taxed on us for this particular purpose.
Yeah. Right then, let's have a look at these tariffs then. So first of all, should we talk about a company that is suing the US president briefly?
Yes.
Yes.
How
That
fun.
sounds fun.
Yes.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. So Meyer
Stonemaier Games.
Game.
So
Has
they
come-
do. Oh, sorry, you.
Yeah. I don't know them. So what do they?
Well, they do my favorite board game, which is Scythe.
Yeah.
And they also do
right.
Viticulture, Wingspan.
Damn.
So these are they are a really big gaming company.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea, they have 200,000 units of reprints going out of things currently. So they're that scale of business. And they're also a really cool company. I like the way they run it. Jamie, their CEO who owns it, has a really good blog and shares a lot of information for newer, smaller creators. So it's an interesting thing to look at generally anyway. But yeah, and they're also cool because they're joining a lawsuit to sue the US government.
I mean, as I understand it, lots of people are. But
Yes.
we're talking about this one just because it's a game company and we're a TTRPG news web.
I mean, they're not mincing words, are they?
Yeah.
We are joining a lawsuit that will challenge the unchecked authority of the executive branch to impose tariffs.
Yes, they're
We'll not
basically
stand
saying
idly by while our livelihoods and livelihoods of thousands of small business owners and contractors in the US, along with the customers whose pursuit of happiness we hold dear, are treated like pawns in a political game.
I mean,
That's
that's not
very strong language.
That's obviously not the lawsuit. That's just a blog
No,
post.
no.
Yeah.
But like that is like, this is unprecedented, quite frankly. Like, you just don't see that sort of thing coming out of like anything to do with American politics.
Well, this is a lawsuit which has a lot of different companies involved with it. They've joined it, and it's not all gaming companies. There's companies from basically small, what they call small businesses, big to us, but small businesses all across the US.
Yeah, if you're importing stuff from outside the US into the US, then you probably have a vested interest in being part of this lawsuit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be in the US to do that as well, because this is basically,
I think at the moment the law firm has said that they now have too many clients on the case, so they're not taking new clients, but they have a form which you can provide information if you're a company suffering for this, to give them information that they can use in their case. So whilst you cannot be there, they're not taking on more clients for this case because they've got too many, you can provide them information so they can say, look, we got information from X number of companies.
I mean, what they're basically saying is that the US president does not have the power to unilaterally put these tariffs in place. That's basically the core of the case, and that's what they're challenging. I can't comment on the,
well, we are neither Americans nor lawyers, so this is out of our wheelhouse.
And we are definitely not American constitutional lawyers.
Indeed. But it's for the import code that would be under tabletop games, which impacts role-playing games, because the Voidrunner's Codex we just looked at will come under that import code because it has tokens, maps, and things. So that's why it's not just board games that are affected. It'll be role-playing games if any part of it isn't a book for any reason. So your starter box sets, or if you have a game that has accessories or unique components like cards for part of its mechanics, that might come under this code and be affected by tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, we did a big segment on that last week, but basically, it is looking likely. No, it's all right. It's going to be okay. I do know that Chris Birch from Odysseus imported some books in just like in the last week or so, and they went through okay. Whether that remains the case, but
we'll find out in a few weeks, because the Monstrous Menagerie 2 and the Gate Pass Gazette 2024 annuals are due to arrive. They're due to arrive in a couple of weeks in the US, so we'll let you know how that goes.
Yay! I feel so bad for you guys. Like, this is just such a nightmare. It's so stressful. Yeah,
I'm not too worried about those two. I think they'll be fine. It's things like the Voidrunner's Codex, which obviously attracts the full 145% tariff. At the moment, our plan, as we discussed last week, is to ship them probably unless something changes. This thing does
could happen,
change on a minute to minute basis. Ship them to the UK, here in the UK, keep them in our warehouse here, and wait for the situation to. Because basically, 145% tariff isn't a tariff; it's an embargo. You cannot ship to this country at this moment. There's no point even calling it a tariff at that point. It's a ban on imports.
Absolutely.
So basically, we will ship it to the UK until the embargo is lifted, and we're allowed to ship it to the US. Essentially,
that's the only way to look at it. Really, it's like. There's nothing to be done. This is not like a structural thing. This isn't like the shipping crisis where no one could get any containers because they're all being held up, like being cleaned.
That's coming. That is coming though, because there's backlogs. There are backlogs.
There's backlogs.
Things being held in China and not being shipped and things like that. It's going to happen again. There's going to be a shipping crisis again, even when the tariffs go away.
Because a lot of things are arriving at port in the US, and because the rules have changed quite quickly and things are unclear, things are taking longer to process. Because of obviously, imagine you're there with your clipboard doing your job. It's going to take you longer to figure out what's going on, what the rate should be, send invoices out. People that get the surprise invoices might need some time to find the money to pay them, which means it sits there a lot longer. So the whole machine slows down and
also,
down
of course,
a bit.
you've got containers and containers of product held in China, or like we're doing, we're going to be holding stuff in the UK, that as soon as the tariffs go away, everyone's going to like ship to America, quick. And everyone will be doing exactly the same thing. And they won't be able to because there won't be enough shipping capacity.
We're just going to have to get a load of suitcases and get on a plane, I reckon.
I reckon it's like
road trip. Let's go.
You know, like message in a bottle. Just stick them in a suitcase, chuck them into the sea, and I'm sure that they'll just wash up in the right place.
Russ, the Voidrunners will just sink. You've shown us the weight of them. Those things aren't floating their way across the ocean. They're going to end
not
up
even if we put a little
down in
sail
the
on
depths.
them.
Not even an anglerfish is going to be able to find them.
Yeah, it's just gonna like go down faster than the Titanic, man. It's not a feasible plan.
Many industries are suing the president over this. It's about the fact that it's wartime tariffs, but the country's not technically at war and things like that. But these things take a very long time, so hopefully the situation resolves itself before these things need to come to light. But we shall see.
I mean, what would be lovely is if. Well, it's not going to happen. It happened quickly enough that we can actually ship those Voidrunners straight to the US instead of to here, because even then we're paying an extra boat ride full of really, really heavy things, which is going to cost a few thousand. You know, it's not.
Well, I mean, I can't promise anything, and we won't discuss the details, but there are other things going on in American politics where people have made proposals or done applications. And then there has been pushback, and then they have rescinded these proposed ideas quite quickly. So possibly it might work out okay. That's me being optimistic, though. So enjoy it. Mark it on your calendars. Celebrate the anniversary, 25th of April next year. On this day, PJ was optimistic.
Yeah. When I look at another company who's been affected by this, so CMON. It's a fairly sizable company in the industry.
That's just counting the minis.
They basically said that they are going to stop crowdfunding and developing new products until this blows over.
That makes sense, because their products are really specific tooling for mass production, because their miniatures are really high quality, really detailed, and there's not infrastructure outside of China to do that at the scale that they need.
As we spoke about last week with Gloomhaven, they had a $1.2 million shipment sitting in port in China. The tariff on that, 145%, would have been another nearly $2 million when it arrives in the US. So they have said that they've got to hold that back. They can't send it because they just can't pay $2 million.
You don't have that in pocket change, do you?
Yeah. Oh goodness, Not gonna find that down the back of the sofa.
No.
It's not like your open AI or something where it's just like, we've earned another couple of $1 billion. Let us some more money.
But tariffs continue to tariff.
Yeah, well, one company that is barely affected by it. Is Wizards of the Coast, because they had a Hasbro investor call this week, where they had to update all the investors on all the situation, and the tariffs was a big part of that. And so while a lot of Hasbro's toys and Magic the Gathering they're producing in the US, but most of D&D, they said D&D is barely affected by the tariff situation. The only thing that will be affected by it, they said, is Heroes of the Borderlands, the upcoming starter set, which is a box set of tokens and cards. So gets charged.
Which is therefore being done in China.
That's made in China. So that will be affected, but most of, or pretty much everything that they print at the moment, book-wise, is done in the US. So their upcoming US release schedule for D&D books is going to be barely affected by this tariff situation. So they're pretty much okay, apart from that box set.
Yeah, I expect they'll be seeing some rises in costs because of importing of materials like inks, paper, and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing like a finished product tariff,
Yeah.
which is what mid-range. Basically, anyone smaller than D&D is facing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
all their sort of imminently upcoming stuff will already have been printed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
they've got a longer lead time than say we have.
Yeah.
On this stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good for them, I guess. Lucky them. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I think that's the indie company everybody
Ooh.
was worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Hasbro will be okay. Well, that's all right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there we go. That is tariff news.
Except I imagine their toy arm is going to be catching it in the shorts.
I would
quite
imagine
hard.
so. Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
But their toys had
Mm-hmm.
been declining in sales for a while anyway. If we remember looking at the research, Magic the Gathering D&D does okay, but
the toys have been suffering. Yeah.
Well,
that's,
do we think that? Sorry,
that's the bad tariff news.
That is bad tariff news. Do we have good tariff news? Is that possible?
Hey, we've got some good news. Let's cleanse our palates with a picture of Y2 dogs looking out of the window for reasons unknown.
Why does Marvin look so sad?
He always looks weird when you take a picture of him. I'm not sure why.
He doesn't like his picture being taken. He looks distressed.
Why? Oh, what? I think Marvin's like one of them's a golden retriever. What's the other one? Is it also a retriever?
Collie/retriever cross.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, but whilst we love seeing a picture of your dogs, Russ, why on this tabletop RPG news show are you showing that?
I just thought it would like cheer us up after having talked about tariffs for 5 minutes.
Nothing to do about science?
Well, we could also show a picture of some other vaguely dog-shaped things. What do you think?
Yes.
Would you like to see that?
Objects? Yeah, go on.
Yes.
Guess what those are?
Well, I know, so I can't guess because I know the news story.
Well, they look like some of the. I got to say, they're some of the worst wolves I've ever seen. They're absolutely dire. There's a couple of like little puppies being held up.
They look very cute and fluffy.
Yeah. I mean, they're not strictly dire wolves because dire wolves weren't strictly wolves, but
So Colossal Biosciences, which is an awesome name for a company, a Dallas-based biotech company, announced last week that they had successfully de-extincted the direwolf.
However,
a lot of scientists say, well, technically, no, you haven't. But it's still cute enough that I wanted to show the picture and mention it anyway. And it's vaguely D&D related because D&D has direwolves in it. So there you go. That's my excuse for showing a small picture of some tiny little wolf-like puppies.
And now we know where George R. Martin has been directing his efforts for the past several years.
Oh, I'm all right with that. They look very cute.
Yeah. So there's been 3 of them, apparently. 2 male pups were born on October the 1st in 2024. And then a female one was born on January the 30th, 2025.
Nice.
They are cute little white fluffy creatures.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder how big they'll grow.
Because direwolves, they're just massive wolves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's more to it, obviously, but are they going to be like Irish wolfhound size?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess after, we'll know in a couple of years. Like, wolves take 2 years to go to full size, I think. They're like dogs. About 2 years.
I mean, is your question, Jess, will you be able to ride one? Because the answer is almost certainly yes.
Will they be taller than Jess, is the question.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, who isn't?
Turns out they're 5'1" at the shoulder. Like, oh, come on.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Do we have any?
Hound?
Well, but think of the poop. Anyway, what other news do we have in the tabletop RPG scene for this week?
Well, I've been talking a lot, Peter. I think that you mentioned a podcast. Not a podcast. What did I say podcast for? A Kickstarter. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, that does seem like the sort of thing. I mean, since I put some stuff up, there's been a couple of.
Well, there's only one I've got a slide
Kickstarters.
for.
There's only one you've got a slide for. You are not responsible for my late night buying habits. Yes.
Well, this is the one that you told me about before today.
This is what I told you about before today. Yes.
Yeah.
So what we've got coming up is one for the Shadowdark RPG called the Devoured Labyrinth. What it is a collection of 31 2-page dungeon crawls, gauntlets, and adventures. And that is it's got I mean, it's like absolutely perfect. It's a bunch of pre-created adventures that you can run Shadowdark with. I'm like, yeah, that's actually really useful. Like, if you don't know how to run Shadowdark, then this is a good way to go. Like, if you already know how to run Shadowdark, yeah, this is third party. This is Sword Compass Creations. It's not launched yet. It's got notify me on launch,
Nice.
which is a button that I've just been clicking. So I'll be looking forward to that. But yeah. There we go. The Devoured Labyrinth for the Shadowdark RPG. There is also a current running Kickstarter, which is which is a bestiary for Savage Worlds, which I am super excited about. Because for me, I do really like running Savage Worlds, but one of the things I've always struggled with is like the bestiaries and knowing like what monsters to get. Because what can I say? I'm very basic. I like my I like to have things all. I like my food pre-chewed, if you will.
Just baby birded to you.
Exactly. Like, you know, if I wanted to do homework, then like, you know, what's going on? And what it is the Simply Savage bestiary for Savage Worlds, which has already funded. And which I am quite interested in, not just because it's not just because it's bestiary for Savage Worlds, but because of the way they've done it. What we're looking at is they have all of they're following best practice, I would say, in that everything fits on one page. They've got all the rules that you need for the monsters put on there. Like, normally with Savage Worlds, got these things called edges, which are a bit like feats. But when a monster has an edge, instead of having to remember and go cross-reference it, they put it straight in, which is very much like A5E has the spells, has part of the stat block. And one of the things which I also found very attractive, which made me go, oh, go on, I will pull the trigger on that one, is that they've got a star rating from 1 to 3, from least to most complex to run.
That
is... Yeah,
a complexity rating. Very cool.
Yeah. And so I was like, I'm down. I like this idea. So it's raised $5,600 or $200 goal. 13 days to go. But yeah, no, I'm very excited about it. And what it's doing is it's already using print on demand to be distributed, and thus sidestep the tariffs that way. So yeah.
Makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Although as we are discovering,
good news for Drive.
Yeah, as it probably wouldn't matter anyway if it's a book, but still.
Yeah. Well, good news for Drive through RPG, and it does simplify distribution. So
it does.
They're earning their 30%. What can I say?
All right. I spotted a Kickstarter too.
Ooh.
Right. So I'm not 100% sure about this. I like the idea of it. I'm not sure whether in practice it quite works for me, but this is called RPG, and it's kind of a box which opens up, and there's a whole bunch of sort of like battle maps which open up, and little bits of wall segment and 3D terrain you can put on top of it, and tokens. So it's kind of like a sort of, they call it an all-in-one adventure kit. So it's magnetic, and it's got the maps, and it's got minis and terrain. And you can open it up and you can flip through the terrains to various different maps, magnetic maps, and then put the little magnetic minis in the magnetic like 3D terrain on top of it.
Yeah.
So
So
I
it's
think it's
like
amazing.
plastic minis with small magnets in the bottom.
It
Absolutely.
looks really cool, but
Pocket
it is
sized.
very small. It is
Yeah,
very
Very, very
small.
small.
It's
Very
not the
small.
usual mini scale that you'd have for D&D.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this
that's
is
my
like
only reservation there. But
7-8 mil tall. So
mm,
I don't know, man. If you're backing this, will you be able to see what you're looking at?
Some people are young, so they would.
yeah, depends on your price, I guess. I mean, it's $99. $99 for this set.
Nice.
It does look very
Miracle
cool.
miniaturization. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, I've also seen that, but I was like, oh no, I'm not touching that.
Mm.
I'll just lose half the bits in no time. I'm sure your dogs will enjoy the tasty treat. That you have to put
Yes.
on.
Yeah. I think I would back this if it wasn't quite as pocket as it is. If it was a bit bigger, I think I'd be tempted. But it is. I think it's just a little
they
too
would be
small for me.
good. Yeah, no. I mean, definitely if you're, I don't know, traveling with a group and you want to just break out that game. Yeah, I mean, it's a very nice idea. I do really like it.
Mm.
Perfect if you get trapped in the lift.
Yeah,
you could be like, oh well, we're trapped
At a
in the
game
lift.
convention.
Trapped in the lift at a game convention. Well, fortunately, I happen to have with me, and away you go.
Yeah, but if you got trapped in a lift at a game convention, there's bound to be someone in the lift with you who knows all of the D&D rules off by heart, verbatim, and can basically perform the function of a walking rule book.
I mean, why would you attack me like that, Russ? What did I do to you? Come on, man.
Right. Anyway,
you don't have to just play D&D with it. You could play any number of other games because other games are available.
Yes. Yeah. Right. What else have we got? We have got some upside down Stranger Things miniatures, and we've got some Pathfinder, Starfinder stuff. Which would you like to hear about?
Oh, I love a good monster. So hit me up with Stranger Things, maybe.
Stranger Things miniatures. Okay, let me find the slide. So I flip through. Here we go.
There it is.
So that's only some. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the. I think there's about 40 miniatures in total. Let's have a look. No, it's 18, not 40. I'm completely wrong. So it's a Stranger Things miniature set by WizKids.
Yeah.
It's going to hit retail in October 2025. 18 different figures, pre-painted plastic ones. Some are large, some are small. They come in sort of like booster packs and things.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're randomized or not, but
for listeners at home, what we've got Vecna with various tentacles coming out, joining him to a couple of pillars. We've got an egg, which really reminds me of an alien egg.
Yes, you could definitely use that in the alien RPG too. Yeah.
And then they have like that little weirdy newt thing that was in the later season of Stranger Things, a demigod, a demogorgon, and of course the most terrifying monster of all, a haunted grandfather clock.
Yeah, and they got a whole load more as well. I mean,
Maybe it represents the evil that is the passage of time.
Relatable. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So that leaves
They look quite good.
Yeah.
They do look good. They do look good.
I like that they're painted because I will not paint minis.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither. Let's have a quick look at some Starfinder stuff, and I think we're pretty much done then. To be honest, that's quite a short week, but so there's two things going on Starfinder wise. First thing is that up on screen there is a preview from their Galaxy Guide. And the Galaxy Guide has a chapter called High Tech Adventures.
Love that.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of genre-based chapters. Things like fantasy, horror, dystopian, weird campaigns. So this is a high-tech adventures. So it tells you it's adventures that put technology and magitech right at the center. So they're going to feature a lot of like space stations and lots of androids and cybernetics and things like that. So they've got a chapter on just different genres of. I mean, they're all sort of related because it's Starfinder, not Pathfinder, but you've got sort of like horror or whatever, different genres. So this is one of the chapters. So just a quick preview of it, which I think is pretty cool. I haven't actually seen this book. I think it looks like it'll be a good resource for anyone running. If just to look at this, lots of advice for anyone running sort of sci-fi-esque campaigns. You know, if you're using the Voidrunner's Codex, maybe this might be useful. I don't know how like mechanic heavy it is. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
And is this linked? Oh, you're about to segue. Sorry.
Yeah, the other thing that they've got is a playtest for 2 new Starfinder classes.
These look quite cool.
These do look quite cool. If I can find the correct slide. Now, I knew it wouldn't be adjacent. Of course it won't.
Why would you make your life easy?
Why would I make my life easy? Right. Problem is, you've got to search for this tiny little thumbnail and peer at them and try and work out what a slide is. And sometimes they're a bit murky, and you can't necessarily see the detail. I think that's it. I can't actually tell. I can see that it's something green and brown. So I'm going to guess that that's it.
It is correct. You got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm looking at. It looks like there's some sort of alien doing a bit of under the spaceship repairs on some. Oh, is that a car with huge wheels? It's still a more attractive vehicle than the Cybertruck. I'll say that. And then got another chap with the person with a huge backpack doing some sort of, I don't know, like magical glowing stuff or maybe technological glowing stuff.
So what you've got there
is
a mechanic, the one on the left.
Yes.
And a technomancer, the one on the right. That's what they are. So the mechanics are martial class. Does things like have turrets pop out of the ground and repairs things and mines and turrets and robot companions are some of the big things that the mechanic does. And the technomancer is a spellcaster.
Yes.
Who basically combines technology and magic.
And
fancy techno magical things. Yeah.
Is absolutely amazing on the German club scene. 100%.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So that's a public playtest that you can go and playtest those now up until May the 30th. So you've got about a month, roughly a month. You can playtest those. There's a survey. You can go and give them survey reports, and give them playtest feedback, and they all come out in a book later, I guess, this year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, I do find that a very nice aesthetic that I'm seeing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I think we're pretty much done, unless either of you have got anything that I've missed.
No. The only thing would be to bring up the UK Games Expo live podcast recording that we'll be doing in a month's time, I guess.
We will be doing it's getting close now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that will be on Friday, the 30th of May at 2 p.m. at UK Games Expo. We'll be there. The three of us will be there. We will record a podcast live in front of an audience.
Yes.
We've done it for 2 years in a row now, so this will be the third time we've done that. It's always fun. And if nothing else, it's somewhere you can sit down and eat your lunch.
Exactly, yeah. So it's at 2 p.m, which is the UK time, which is the same time we normally go live, and it's in the Dice Room, which is the same room we're always in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And has been big enough every year, despite being offered a room 10 times the size originally. And I had to explain the scale of who we are and be like, no, we're not going to fill. We're not going to fill.
An auditorium of 500 people. No,
we will not.
I mean, there were definitely less seats than there used to be. So, we might run out.
Less empty seats than there used to be. Yeah.
Indeed. And also, generally, in publishing stuff, the UK Games Expo, we have our stand there, and you can collect your rewards there if you've let me know in advance for like the Monstrous Menagerie 2 and things like that. If you check the updates, if you want to pick them up in person.
Yes, we're going to be there. for another fun packed 4 days of, well, 3 days, 4 days plus setup of absolutely exhausting work.
Yes. See you there.
Yeah, see you there. Please come
yeah.
and say hello to us, but don't corner us and talk to us for 45 minutes while we're trying to sell books.
Russ would dearly love to hear about your level up character and all the ins and outs of how it works, is what he's saying.
Yeah, no. It's I know. You understand that we are working and we are trying to sell books to people, and if you talk at us for 45 minutes, that's probably several people we failed to sell a book to. And we're losing money.
Unless you wish to buy a book, in which case Russ would love to sell you a copy.
Come and say hi to us, but please kind of keep it 5 minutes or so.
Keep it under 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you want to hang out with us for 45 minutes or more, come to the live show and we'll do it then.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be pretty sweet.
Or in the bar in the evening.
Yeah, or that.
Promises. All right.
Right, I think we're done.
Yes.
I think so too.
Yeah. I failed to mention early on, I've got to get into the habit of doing this right at the start of the show. We're live streaming 2 p.m. on Fridays, UK time. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time. YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. We're live streaming this, so if you're only hearing the audio, you can come along to YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook and join in the chat. We'll sometimes throw your comments up on screen and answer things you said. And it's always good fun.
Gaze upon our faces, and we can only
we've got 20 lovely people watching right now.
Hello.
Which is nice.
Woo, hello.
Woo. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us. That's it for the week.
All right. Goodbye.
Got some good news, Jess. You came back from the Caribbean, complained it was too cold. But the good news is we are having a mini heat wave next week, and it's going to be 26, 27 degrees.
I know. I'm excited.
So you can work on your tan then.
Yeah. That's me, always working on that tan.
Yeah. All right. Should we get out of here?
Let's go.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG. Doggy.